Hi, my name is Gene Borek, head golf professional at the Metropolis Country Club in White Plains, New York.
And my name is Lohren, head golf professional at the North Shore Country Club in Glen Head, Long Island, New York.
You and I have something very much in common, and that is to find a better way to hit the golf ball straighter more consistently so that you can lower your scores and enjoy the game. Now, in order to do that, you have probably experimented with a lot of swing ideas, theories, golf gimmicks that have led to confusion, which I call paralysis by analysis. Now, golf being my business, I had to find a better way to hit that ball under the pressure of tournament play. And so about 15 years ago, I met Carl, who has developed a simplified approach to this difficult and demanding game. Carl developed this method by studying hundreds of touring pros and teaching thousands of golfers very much like yourself. And at this time, I would like to introduce Carl to you.
Gene, thanks a lot for being here with us to help us show the move. You know, when it comes to playing golf, people really do think too much. When they have an important shot to hit, they think of many thoughts. Well, a golf swing only takes 1 or 2 seconds. There's not enough time to think of a lot of things. We'd like to show you a method whereby, with one thought, you can create an effective repeating swing. What do you say, Gene, we go out there and show them?
Carl, before we go out to demonstrate, I would like to tell the people something. You may not know Carl Lohren, but many top professionals have come to him for advice and tutoring. And at this time, I would like to quote from one of those top touring professionals who said, "Carl Lohren changed my entire concept of how golf is played. His system has the answer to an effective repeating golf swing. It is a well-reasoned, simple system that you call on in time of stress that makes your swing stronger under pressure." Now, let's go out and show the people how it works, Carl.
Have you ever noticed on the golf course when you're playing and having problems that your tempo feels jerky and fast, that you feel yourself not being able to stay down to the ball and pulling up from it? Have you ever felt that your body jerked and wasn't in sync with your arms and your hands? All these problems are manifestations of an early use of the right side of your body, the whole right side, or parts of the right side. The fundamentals of the golf swing demand a late hit, a delay of this right side. That's what causes good golf shots. The professional who's playing well delays the right side until the last possible moment. That gives him power and efficiency and accuracy, because at the last possible moment, he's able to use his instincts. If he hits too soon, he cannot use his instincts. Secondly, when you've watched television and you've watched good players like Mahaffey or Irwin or Nicklaus, Weiskopf, all these players have different sizes. Some are tall, some are thin, some are short, but they all perform 4 fundamentals. These fundamentals are axis, radius, plane, and wind-up or coil. By axis, I mean the rotation of the shoulders in a barrel if both shoulders were against the barrel before they started the swing. You've probably associated this with keeping your head still. By extension of the radius, I mean the left shoulder to the left hand being the radius, the extension of this radius in as wide a possible swing path as can be achieved. You've probably tried to do that by taking the club back straight or taking the club back low. The third one of these fundamentals is the plane of the swing. The plane of the swing is the angle in which the club reaches the top of the swing. This plane is very important because unless it's complied to, you will not be able to bring the club through to the target without a twist or a drop or an undue manipulation of your body. The fourth one of these fundamentals is the torque or the coil. What it really means is that the shoulders have turned more than the waist and the hips. This winds the big muscles in the back and allows them to unwind and substitute for the use of the right side. You've probably tried to achieve that through some type of a thought of a pivot. Through the years, working on each one of these fundamentals individually, I have found it's almost impossible because working for a day or two, I have success. As I stay with the idea, I get a mess because it becomes exaggerated. Taking it back low becomes too low. Staying smooth becomes too smooth, and I get rigor mortis. I have discovered that starting the swing with the left shoulder accomplishes all four of these fundamentals. It accomplishes the axis by enabling the left shoulder to come forward and the right shoulder to go back and trapping an axis. It accomplishes the radius because it swings the left arm, the shoulder being the top of the left arm, in as wide a possible arc and preventing the right hand from lifting. It accomplishes the plane because with a center and a radius swinging, the shoulder can only move but a few ways and the plane's insured. And it accomplishes torque or wind because we're starting with the shoulder before the hips, and that makes the shoulders turn further than the hips. We'd like to demonstrate what we mean now by starting the left shoulder. Gene, come on over here and let's show them how to start the swing with the left shoulder.
Sure, Carl.
If you'll try this, it'll give you the feeling of this left shoulder start. Put your hands behind you and hold them. Lean forward in a chair. Swing your left shoulder naturally towards where I have my finger. That'll give you the feeling. I'd like to make a suggestion. Thanks, Gene. I'd like to make a suggestion. Don't try to change your golf swing. Just try to start your swing with this motion.
Earlier, I talked to you about the importance of consistency. That is to approach the ball in the same way for each shot. In observing good players, you will notice that they have a routine that incorporates all the basic elements of playing the game, such as your grip, alignment, and posture. And at this time, Carl's going to hit some shots, and we're going to recommend a way for you to incorporate this system so that you can be more consistent on the golf course in your game. In order to be consistent, you must have a sound routine. As you notice Carl approaching the ball from behind, he steps close to the ball, puts his hands on the clubs, he takes his stance, takes a look at the target, and then starts to swing with his left shoulder. Now, all good players have this type of approach to the ball, and we want you to develop one that is suitable for your own personality. If you do things quickly, the routine should be on the fast side. If you do things slowly, it should be on the slow side. Notice again, he's coming in from behind the ball, club in the left hand, and then in the right, takes his stance, looks at the target, gets set, and starts the swing with his left shoulder. Now, if you practice that way on the golf course, you should practice that way also on the practice tee. This pre-shot routine enables you to get into a consistent pattern so that you have the same setup position in the address, and this will incorporate all the basic elements such as grip, alignment, posture, distance from the ball, weight distribution, and so forth. It's important to have your shots on the golf course go straight, and in order to do that, you need a consistent swing, which is a result of a consistent setup, which is the result of your pre-shot routine. Notice again, Carl's coming in from behind the ball. Most good players like to get the target on their mind visually from behind, and then they walk to the ball. They've made up their mind what club they're going to use and what type shot they're going to play, and they come in from behind. Again, they'll look at the target, takes a stance, gets settled, another look, a waggle with the left hand, and starts the left shoulder.
The routine that I was using when I was hitting those balls, and Gene was talking about, does a couple very important things. Number one, puts you into the proper position. Number two, gives you some flow. The flow aspect's important because it keeps you from getting tight, it keeps you from getting stagnant there and not being able to start, and it gives you better tempo and better coordination without having to think about it. Secondly, the position that is accomplished by this routine has three very important components. Number one, the shoulders are open. By open, I mean they're to the left of you being the target. Number two, the right shoulder being lower than the left enables the right elbow to be crimped a little bit bent. Number three, as a result of the shoulders being open and the crimping of the right arm, the sternum, or the middle of the neck, is in the middle of your heels if it were plumbed straight down. There are reasons for these three positions. I'll touch on them very briefly now and go into them at length later. The openness provides room for the left shoulder to move. The crimp of the right provides subordination of the right side to the left side. The centering of the sternum provides good balance so that when a player moves, his pressure changes, but he doesn't sway. All three of these factors will give you a good wind-up so that your left side will lead your right side through the swing. We'd like to now show this position with Gene. No. Now I'd like to show you the address position that we've talked about. Gene's shoulders are open. They're way left of where his club is aiming and where his feet are aiming. From this position right here, the left shoulder is further open than the hips. So it'll have a tendency to move before the hips, which we want. From this position also, the left shoulder will direct the golf club straight down the line, which is what we call extension of the radius. And this is much better than taking it inside if it weren't open. Gene will now give you a demonstration of this. Gene, show them how the golf club goes straight away from this open position. Very good. Now show them, if the shoulders weren't open, where the club would have a tendency to start. You can see by that second demonstration that the radius of the path of the club is not as extended as when it goes straight away. This is very important. The third thing about this left shoulder position, which is open, is that there's an urge to start this from this position. The fourth thing about the open shoulder position is that the head or the sternum is centrally located. This is a good spiral position and facilitates a very good upper left shoulder start. We will show you now how to get into this open position. First, you must start a little bit more than half facing the target. The next thing you do is take a little step with your right foot towards the ball, staying as open as you were when you started. The next thing you do is just normally take a stance in the same direction as the club. When you do this, your shoulders will be a little less open than they were in the beginning, but they will still be open. You will now be in a position to start your left shoulder. Your grip is the next thing that we'd like to talk about. The grip is the most important thing in the golf swing because without the grip, the proper stance can't be assumed and your swing can't be correct. The order from which the grip is taken is the first thing that we'll discuss. If you'll notice, your left hand should already be holding the club when you're in the preset position. Then the right hand is put on the club as you take your step to the ball. This automatically lowers your right shoulder. Then your stance is taken. Now let's discuss what your grip should be. All of us have a natural way that our arms and hands hang at our sides. Gene's hands hang differently at his sides than mine hang at my side. And your hands hang differently at your sides than ours. It's important for you to put your hands on the club in a way that's normal and natural to the way your arms hang, because your arms are going to swing as you move your shoulders, and the swinging of these arms will not be natural if the arms aren't in a natural position when you address the ball. The proper grip will put your arms in their natural position so that your shoulders can be in the proper position easily, and so that your arms will function naturally when they're swinging the club. The first thing in the grip that we're going to discuss is the left hand. It should be taken by hooking the forefinger in the last joint on it and then putting the heel pad or the butt of the hand on top of the club. After that's, and you should be able to hold the club without the last three fingers with the butt. If you cannot do that, you don't have it correctly. After you have it in this position, then close the last three fingers and the thumb. The last callus pad, or the end of the thumb, will be the thing that's holding the club, as well as the last three fingers, and the heel pad will be pressing down, activating the top of the left forearm. The right hand is pressured with the middle two fingers. The third joint goes underneath the club and up against the index of the left. These two fingers are then close the club. They hold the thumb of the left against the middle or the palm of the right, with the last crook of the right hand being held against the club and the inside of the left thumb pressing on the left side of the grip, and not like this, which would activate the right side. This grip right here is unified, strong in the left and weaker on the right, in the right, because the left is palm and finger and the right is only finger. The grip pressure should be not tight, but just on the light side. But don't worry about keeping it light, because it'll instinctively get tighter as you get closer and closer in your time to hit the shot.
I would now like to show you some drills that will help you to improve your swing. The first one is called the open hand drill. Assume the correct address position, then open your right hand and start your left shoulder and let it go through at half speed. Let me show you that one again. Assume the correct address position, the shoulders are open, open your right hand, keep it open throughout the backswing, and follow through at half speed. This same drill can be done in a different manner, only with the club in your left hand. Place your right arm behind your back, start the left shoulder, and let it go through at half speed. Let's see that one more time. Only in your left hand, start the left shoulder, and go through at half speed. The main purpose of that drill is to teach you something in the backswing, so don't swing too hard in the forward swing. If the club is too heavy in that position, turn it upside down and do the same thing. Start the left shoulder and follow through at half speed. One more time. Shoulders are open, right hand's behind the back, start the left shoulder and let it go through at half speed. Now I'd like to show you another drill by sitting down in a chair and assume a position at the edge of the chair as though you're addressing the ball. Put your hands together and start the left shoulder until you feel a pull in your back. That's the completion of the drill. The purpose of this drill is to start the shoulder before the left hip. Start the left shoulder first until you get a sensation in your back. Do not attempt to go too far because you may hurt yourself. And that is the completion of that drill. You'll find it very handy to use these drills on the practice tee in between shots.
Now that Gene and I have shown you the one move system, we'd like to show you how you can use it for all shots: the driver, the fairway wood, the iron, the trap shot, and the putt. Gene will demonstrate all these, and then you'll be able to take it on the course. Notice when Gene's hitting the ball that he stays in motion. He's waggling the club, and he started his swing with his left shoulder. His movement of his left shoulder, which started his swing, did not originate there. Notice that he's in his preset now. He steps in and lowers his right side. He takes his stance and continues waggling. He sets the club and starts his left shoulder. There was a rhythmic exchange there from one segment to the next. He's now going to switch to a 6-iron, the medium iron. He's now presetting it, stepping in by lowering his right shoulder. Notice his right arm is crimped and bent. Do you notice that? and he's waggling, and he starts his left shoulder and hits it. Notice right now that his left hand is going on the club. His shoulders are open. They're open right now. They close a touch but still remain open. He waggles the club, sets it, and starts his left shoulder. He's now going to switch to a 3-iron. The 3-iron is the long iron. It'll be played with a slightly wider stance than the 6-iron. He's presetting and taking his left-hand grip. He's stepping forward with his right foot and lowering his right shoulder, creating a crimp in his right arm. His shoulders are open. He's waggling, setting, and starting his left shoulder. Again, notice that the left hand is by the left side. It joins the right hand in front of the fly, waggles the club from square to open. Notice the waggles from square to open, the waggle is moving, and starts the left shoulder to start the swing. Now Gene will be hitting the 4-wood. The 4-wood is a fairway wood club, played approximately the same place that the long iron is played. Notice how he sets the club and waggles with his left hand. The waggle is a left-sided maneuver. Looks at the target, sets the club, and starts the shoulder. Notice that when Gene waggles the club, that the left side is more dominant in the waggle than the right. That's because of the nature of the left-hand grip as opposed to the right-hand grip. Also notice that there's no attempt in his part to take an artificially slow backswing or try to make it fast. He just starts his shoulder and the club goes away in a wide arc. Now we're going to the driver. The driver is played with the widest stance, teed up at the height in which you want to hit the ball. If you want to hit it high, tee it high. If you want to hit it low, tee it low. Gene's presetting, stepping forward and putting his right hand in the club. His right arm is bent at the elbow. He's waggling, his shoulders are open. He's moving his feet to keep in motion. He's setting, and he's starting with his left shoulder. Gene will now demonstrate the bunker shot. The feet are 45 degrees open, which affords a glancing blow. His left shoulder started the same as it is on other shots. The right arm is crimped. The shoulders and the hips are also open. The only two differences are that the club hits the sand before the ball and that the feet now are open as well as the hips and the shoulders. Notice it's a left-sided stroke, but the club will travel in the direction of the feet and it will intersect the line of flight, causing the ball to pop up in the air and land softly. Notice that there's continuous waggle, a start of the left shoulder, and a follow-through that ensues from the coil that's created. Gene is now chipping the ball with a 7-iron. Notice that he continues in motion, has a right arm crimp, and starts his swing with the left shoulder. Notice also that his feet are a little bit open on this shot. This enables him to get a better coil against his left side. When his left shoulder turns from the open position, he'll get a better pull so that he can unwind. Also notice on this shot that there's no effort on Gene's part to play the shot dead-wristed or using no wrist, nor is there an effort to pick the club up and cock his wrists. The wrist break in the golf swing because momentum afforded the club head by the start of the swing causes them to cock. Notice when Gene starts his shoulder, there is a little bit of break of the wrist on the backswing, and then his left side pulls the club through. The chip shot is played with the same ingredients as the other shots. A crimp of the right, movement, some waggle, movement of his feet, and a start of the left shoulder. In putting, you will see Gene do the same thing as with the other clubs. All good putters move their arms and their shoulders. And Gene will start his swing with his left shoulder. This way he doesn't get any independent flipping of the club with his hands. Notice that when he starts his swing, his left shoulder will move and it swings his arms back and through. Notice also the quietness of the legs and the hips. They don't move as he starts his swing because the shoulders don't move far enough to move them. Also notice that Gene is bent more forward from the waist so that his head is out over the ball. This makes his left shoulder, when it starts, move down a little bit more. That keeps the putter on line. The shoulders will always tend to swing in the direction that the upper spine is placed. As the spine is bent over more, the shoulders will swing more vertical. Also notice that when Gene hits these putts, that his spine is no more than 1 inch behind the ball. This is accomplished in many ways. Some top players put the weight on their left foot with a wide stance. That moves the spine near the ball. Other top players play the ball in the middle of their feet with a wide stance. That moves the spine near the ball. Other players put their feet together like Gene is here, and that keeps the spine near the ball. The cardinal rule is, for good square contact, not to put the spine any more than 1 inch behind the ball. This will ensure you that the club hits the ball before it has a chance to raise and before it is too descending. It'll hit the ball at the bottom of the swing. Let's run through this information about the preset, the set, and the stance. The preset position, you want to have your left hand by your left hip. That enables your shoulders to be open. Your right foot should point towards the ball. Your weight should be on your left foot, and your whole body should be a little bit more than half open. You should take a little step towards the ball, 2 or 3 inch step. At that time, your left heel should be off the ground, your left knee having given as you take the step. The right shoulder should be low, the crimp's there, your shoulders are open. As you take your stance, you're in position now with that all-important crimp of the right arm, the shoulders being open, and the left shoulder on call, ready to move. Let's run through that one more time. The preset position, you'd like to have your left hand on the club, holding the club correctly by your left side. Your weight is on your left foot. Your right toe is pointing towards the ball from 1 inch or 2 behind the perpendicular, and with a driver, maybe 3 or 4 inches behind the perpendicular. You take a little step towards the ball, your left heel coming off the ground, your left knee bending a little bit. The right shoulder is out past the foot, so that if I were to plumb it, it would fall 1 inch or 2 in front of the foot. You, in essence, are leaning forward with the upper right side. This keeps the shoulders open. Now take your stance from there, getting into a comfortable position and continuing to move your feet. You'll have that crimp again, the open shoulders, and the neck in the center, and the urge to think and start that left shoulder. Nobody can become a great golfer overnight by reading a book or watching a tape. But what we've given you today are some steps, some real easy steps to improve your golf game.
What you need to do is to practice, and you need to remember one thing. Start every swing with your left shoulder. And if you do, it will lead you to better scores and winning rounds because you've got the one move to better golf.